Hello everyone, this is Alan and it's 3:22 p.m. in Adelaide, South Australia. It's a sunny day and it's a very good opportunity to talk about a couple of chapters. That's chapter 10 and chapter 11 from the book of Genesis. Because now the floods are over, the earth has started to regain life. It is starting to fill with living things, right? Well, that is exactly the purpose for which Noah was saved, right? So let's go ahead with that. So chapter 10 basically describes the genealogy of Noah. Now I just want to point out one person from the generations that came after Noah. That's Nimrod. Nimrod was called the Nimrod the mighty, and it is also said in the Bible, Nimrod the mighty before the Lord. So I think in one of my previous videos, I had discussed some people just stand out in every bloodline. So if you're mighty enough, you might even like go down in history. Well, that's what when we study history, we learn about all the mighty people who were strong and who stood for a cause. Otherwise they won't be in the history, right? And there is something to it. And I think we can aspire to be people like those who actually go down in history. And what's stopping us, right? And it's very interesting. I was having a chat with my friend and I was telling my friend, the people in the history, when they didn't have internet, people knew about them across the face of the earth. And how is that possible? Right, you don't have internet, you don't have that easy communication, but still people manage to go down in history where the communication was basically limited to a small area. And that is something to think about, like your might overpowered so many people that it just spread across the earth and you managed to survive in the history books for thousands of years. Well, that is something to think about, right? Well, anyway, so many generations came after Noah and they divided the earth into small nations and everyone had their thing going on. All right. So in chapter 11, it is said that all the people on planet Earth had one language and they decided to build a city and a tower which reached the heavens. The tower was supposed to reach the heavens, right? Supposedly. But Lord saw this and he said that, you know what? Now that people are one, they are trying to build a tower which reaches the heavens, and he just decided to confuse them. And you'd say, Alan, why would Lord decide to do that? I think this can be best related to one of the principle in Robert Greene's book called 48 Laws of Power. So in 48 Laws of Power, there's one principle. It goes like this: never outshine the master, right? So what does this mean? So let's say, if you try to outshine the master, if you try to undermine the superiority of the master, probably his ego won't take it well, right? So how do you propagate in a safe manner to the top? All right, so what I do is, right, so let's say my superior gives me some work, so I always say yes. I don't think I've ever said no to a superior to any work that is assigned to me. I'll always say yes. So you've got that goodwill built with them, right? Also, sometimes people try to test you out. They think you always say yes, probably you're very agreeable, and they try to press you. So at that moment, I'm just gonna tell them that this particular thing that you're pointing out, it's probably not my fault, and probably I can help you to do things better in the office. It's a very sophisticated art, because I'm not asking anyone to ask their managers to just go away. You can't do that, because that is just going to be counterproductive and no one wants that. So there's this sophisticated language that you use where you deflect all the unnecessary accusations that are coming your way, and it's very fun actually. Look, if you're going to be on this planet earth for the next tens of decades, you might as well develop the skills required to speak, right? We can learn how to speak. And it's really interesting, because because people think that everyone knows how to speak, but it's not the case. There is so much to language. There's so much language. Languages have caused wars just by language. They didn't really have to give something to the people who were participating in the wars. They just gave them the power of words, and that's how powerful language is, right? So yes, back to chapter 11, right? So Lord saw that the people were not giving God his due credit. They did not put God in the forefront of whatever activities that they were doing in the activity which relates to building the Tower of Babel. Right. So he just confused the language, because if people can't understand what one is saying to another, they can't complete the project. Well, there it goes. The plan goes down the drain. The tower was never finished. And of course, the Tower of Babel is the Tower of Confusion, the tower that never got finished. There is another takeaway when you form a group with certain kinds of people who are not probably on the same scale or on the same uh, frequency with you. It can be a very very difficult task to get the work done, so it can be related to those experiences too, and I'm sure that many of you have had those experiences. I've had those experiences, but I've been like really stringent about how I get my things done, and people tend to just follow. It's not easy, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, there's a lot riding on how you perform in life, definitely. Well, and towards the end of the chapter, we are introduced to Abraham and Sarai. Sarai is Abraham's wife, and in the next chapter, the Abrahamic adventures begin, and I look forward to it. All the best, guys. Talk to you soon.